Hello, Jake.
How you doing?
Where are we at today?
So we're here at the Darkhorse Room, and doing the early stages of our new EP.
So, I got some questions here for you today.
Shoot.
What are some of your musical influences?
Definitely some early 70s stuff, a lot of 70s funk. I would have to say Aerosmith, Eric Clapton. The newer stuff, maybe some Foo Fighters. Even into, I would even go as far to say Mumford & Sons, Kanye West, Jay-Z, The Roots, stuff like that.
Awesome. So, I hear you have a new record coming out soon. Can you tell us about that?
I can, yeah. Like I said, we're in the early stages of it right now, so we're just basically working on demos, kind of throwing ideas out there and seeing what sticks. We've got about 3 or 4 solid songs, I would say now, that we're really working on and honing, but I'm excited about it.
All right. I hear it's called the Jake Marsh Trio. Can you tell me about more of how that came about?
It first started out, our former drummer, Blake Ehoff, and I joined a hip-hop group called Mahogany Brown back in 2006. And it was there that we met Brian Seeley, our bass player. And we played a few shows, and that was fun. But after that, it kind of, for lack of a better word, fizzled out. And then we decided we wanted to keep the music thing going and keep playing gigs. And so we decided to form the trio. Blake and I had been working on some songs, and we had had some demos done that I had written, and Blake and I recorded and produced together. So we just gave BB the CD and said, let's make something happen. And so we had a gig set up that didn't work with the hip-hop group at Chop Suey in Seattle, and that ended up being our first show.
Awesome. If you could play a show with anyone, current or maybe in the history of music, who would it be?
Is this local or?
Anyone.
In the history of music. I'd probably have to say Stevie Wonder.
Stevie Wonder.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Of all that's going on in music today, what are you into?
I am into the fact that music is so... It's not just one avenue anymore. It's not just playing a club and getting discovered. It's not just playing and having fun. It's not just one medium. It's not just the record company discovering that band anymore. It's all of those things in one. It's the internet. It's TV. It's self-mass marketing. You're your own biggest fan, and you have to be now. That's what I like about what's going on in music, is that there's so much going on.
Mm-hmm. What's the most difficult part of making music for you?
Definitely the lyrics and finishing songs. I literally have to lock myself in a room and say, I'm going to finish these songs. It's just probably that process for any lyricist, I think, to be able to pull that out of yourself. It might come easier for some people, but for myself personally, I think it's just getting in touch with that part that you may not want to get in touch with, and really just putting it all out there.
And you said the hardest part was actually finishing song. How do you guys go about writing songs?
Usually it'll start with an idea, a musical idea that might just be a verse or a chorus, but usually I'll sit down with my acoustic guitar. I've heard that if it can't be played on an acoustic guitar and vocal, that it probably and this is just one philosophy, can't stand up as a song, and so I've adopted that philosophy, and so that's how I choose to write music. And sometimes other songs, like the song Tuesday on the last CD that we did, I just told our drummer now, Nigel, I was playing the riff, and I said, give me something that sounds like Elton John on the keyboard. I said, let's do some Elton John. And that's kind of how that came about, was that song. So sometimes it comes about in a jam. Sometimes it comes about in an idea of what I want it to sound like or what the band wants it to sound like. But usually it's me and an acoustic guitar. Once it's written and I've locked myself in the room and finished the lyrics, take it to the band, and then we take it to another level.
Awesome. How would you describe your musical style?
In the past, it's been kind of just pop rock. In the beginning, it was more of a just straightforward rock and then some acoustic songs. Like I said, it was a few just things that I'd thrown together and Blake and I had recorded. And then the second time around, making this past one that we did, Lie Me Down, we had some ideas that we had rehearsed and put together and did, I think, everything we could do as a band. And then we took them to John, who produced and engineered the last record, and he took it to another level. And I just think that the musical style is, I would say, constantly evolving. I don't think that I would ever want to peg ourselves into a genre, but this new stuff, I think some people might say, and the people that I have played it for say, that doesn't even sound like you. Well, maybe it shouldn't, because that's, like I said, when you lock yourself in a room and play, if you go deep down into where, you don't want to go sometimes, that's just what comes out. And maybe that's not the style, but that's just what comes out. Yeah.
As far as lyrics go, how much of your personal experience are reflected in your lyrics?
100%. This next project, I'm trying to avoid, some of the cliche things that I would say are pegged, as the things that I write about, like girls and relationships. I think I've done that enough. Trying to get away from that and go into more of ideas or personal experiences that maybe I've had from other things that I haven't written about before. Maybe some things that I've decided not to write about because it wasn't the right time. But I think, there is a piece of myself in every lyric that I write.
Okay, so describe your journey as an artist.
To tag on to the previous question a couple questions ago, just that journey, I think it's always just evolving. If you're not getting better, or if you're not exploring new territory, I think that you can always stick to, okay, well, let's put one on here that this record that people will say, okay, that sounds like the Trio. A fan favorite type of song that keeps people familiar. But you have to, as an artist, I think, explore and grow and do new things. Hey, let's try to throw a piano on here, or let's see what I can do here vocally, or let's stretch myself intellectually with my lyrics. Let's see if I can use a different word here, or paint new colors here on this thing. It's always got to be better than your last, or you're not growing.
Okay. So you grew up in California.
I spent 7 years in California.
Okay.
It was kind of back and forth, kind of a seasonal thing. So I would say I am a native Washingtonian.
Okay. And so what brought you here then? What brought you to Washington?
My family was spent, like I said, part of the time in California. I would say that it was a occupational. My parents' occupation brought me here to Washington permanently.
Okay. And so the New Year's just came up. Do you have any New Year's resolutions?
I would just say, for the sake of the fact that I just got got married last year, and you know, just thinking about him getting older and you know, a little wiser and a little more health conscious. You know, the phrase, you know, I'm not getting any younger. Just to be conscious of those things, to be healthy and to be conscious of my marriage and treat that well, and to treat my wife with respect and all those things, and you know, without getting too in depth about that stuff, but just to be a good man.
Okay. What would you be doing right now if music wasn't an option?
I think I would be doing something that involved people, something that involved helping others, something that involved being able to get some sort of message of hope or help or something out there to other people.
Okay. So what are some of your least favorite trends in music today?
My least favorite trends, I guess, would be things that don't stick. You know, I think you need to have something that, whether it's something that maybe I'm not a big fan of, but it's got to be something that, like I said, you can throw up against the wall and it sticks, you know, at least for a while. You know, something that you can grab onto and, you know, say, that's mine. It's these people, like, you know, people go crazy over, like, Lady Gaga or whatever. They say she's nuts or whatever, but she's not reinventing the wheel. I mean, that's been done before. It's not a trend. It's not a fad. It's a formula. It's a very ingenious thing, and she's not only talented, but she's very intelligent. And people like her know exactly what they're doing. Those are things that, you know, 20 years from now, we'll have another one just like her, you know, but not. That's unique, you know. Yeah, the things that the trends I don't like are the trends, the things that come and go.
And what made you decide to be exclusively a trio?
We're not exclusively a trio. I mean, the name Jake Marsh Trio is just a name.
Okay.
I mean, we're kind of like a band of traveling gypsies, I would say. I mean, you know, we've got keyboardists that come in, background singers that come in. We'd be happy to have, you know, guitarists play with us, and you know, it's not an exclusive trio. That's just a name, and it's funny because people say sometimes when we play live, there's 6 of you on stage. I thought this was a trio. Well, the core of it is there's 3 guys that are, you know, when we record, maybe it's 3 of us or sometimes 4 of us, but you know, anybody's welcome to join us on stage, you know.
Okay. Well, thanks for answering some questions. Look forward to the new album that'll be coming out. And
so am I, absolutely.
Awesome. Thanks a lot.